So without further ado, let's get to our NBA segment. It is the debut of Magic Drive Time of our grad associate, Wendell Epps. Wendell, welcome, my friend.
Thank you so much, Dante. It is a pleasure to be with you and Jake. It is a special day. It's funny because I'm considering myself to be like an Anthony Blackjet Howard, and you guys to be like my Joe Ingles, mentoring me as I navigate my first year working in the NBA.
Okay. So I don't quite know how to take that. But also Joe Ingles is like 10 years younger than me. So
Joe Ingles is the guy. You guys are just missing the Australian accent.
Well, listen, but Wendell, you did broadcasting at High Point. You recently graduated. You did play-by-play there, so you're no stranger to being on the microphone. So with that, no pressure. Go ahead. What you got for us here in this NBA segment?
All right. So for my segment today, I really wanted to focus on the future of the league because I think we are in for a very exciting future in the NBA. And I wanted to start off talking about some rookies, 2 rookies specifically, Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren. Obviously, Victor was the number 1 pick in this year's NBA draft. Chet was a 2nd pick last year, but missed all of last season with the foot injury. We saw the 2 play each other on Monday night. OKC beat San Antonio 122-121. Victor had 20 points and 5 boards in 19 minutes. Chet with 21 and 9 boards in 16 minutes. So I want to start with you, Dante. Between Victor and Chet, who do you think has a better chance of winning Rookie of the Year? And also down the line in the next 5 to 7 years, which one of the 2 do you think has a better chance of being the face of the league?
Well, I think it's Victor Wembanyama on all fronts. My personal thought, right? I saw that game that you're talking about here on League Pass, and I just think right now the way San Antonio is presently constructed, all the numbers that are available to be gotten are Victor's if he can go get them. He can score 25 a game. He can get 13 rebounds. He can get 20 assists. I mean, he's not competing with anybody just yet. There's great talent on San Antonio, but to me, all those numbers can be had. Chet Holmgren is competing with Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, who was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year last year. So I think some of those numbers and stats are going to be distributed along all those guys. And plus, I just think all-around game, I just think Victor's better. I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year. But wow, Chet looked pretty good too, didn't he, Jake?
Yeah, I am. I'll go toe-to-toe with you on this one. I think Chet might have a better shot at winning Rookie of the Year, and here's why. You're right. Wembanyama very easily could average 20 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and they'll win 20 games. They're very, very, it's very clear that they're set up to not win very many games this year.
Correct.
Whereas Oklahoma City, I mean, you could make a pretty good argument that they can make a deep run into the Western Conference playoffs because of what you just said, because of all those other guys that they had. Yeah. I mean, it might be the best collection of young talent in the league. I trust Oklahoma City's front office, and this is easy to say, more so than I do San Antonio's, just based on the last 5 years or so. I just think they've done an amazing job. And look, and we always make jokes about the amount of picks that they've added. They've also added a lot of really good young talent, like you said.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Chet averages 11 points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 block shots, but they go 48 and whatever. And it's compared to Wembanyama with those big puffy numbers, but on a 20-win team, I think you got a really interesting argument there. Long term, I think obviously I'll take Wembanyama, but I think Chet Holmgren could be a really, really impactful player this season. So I'll say I kind of like Chet's chances at the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, but I think that the 48 wins is 4 more than what they got last year. So if he's that good, and how much did he add? Who knows? But you're right. I think I just don't know that the numbers will be there. But I think if you just look at the eye test, and they're both good. They're both good. And I feel like Wendell, I feel like we gave Victor Wembanyama the Rookie of the Year 6 months ago, and I just don't see anybody taking it.
Real fast.
As unfair as that is.
That's true.
He made a step back 3 in that game, and Twitter was like, he is inhuman. I'm like, that's a normal basketball play.
But Jake, there are once in a generation, right? Guys come along where they can do no wrong. He's going to be that guy as long as he can stay healthy.
I want to see his regular season basketball game before I'm ready to proclaim that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We need it to happen because look, we're entering the end of an era in the NBA with guys like LeBron, KD, and Steph. Yeah. So we're hoping that either Vic or Chet, it works out for them, and they can be the face of the league. But I want to move on now to my next topic here, and this is
that annoys me. By the way, can I just say that? Sorry, last thing. Chet annoys me. Chomping on that gum post game. That bothered me.
You've been anti-Chet for 2.5 years. The battle we've been having at media meals for a long time.
Completely unrelated basketball reasons. But go ahead.
Oh man, no worries. All right, so this is where Jake's Anaheim Amigos shirt comes into play.
Ooh, I like it.
And this is interesting because I've heard a lot of talk about this, especially within the past week, and that is about the expansion of the NBA. We heard earlier this week from Shaquille O'Neal. He told the messengers to be, quote, I don't want to partner up with nobody. I want it all for myself. And this is when he said he wanted to own a team in Vegas. He wants to do it all by himself. We know LeBron also mentioned that he wants to become an owner as well if there's a team in Las Vegas. And the NBA is expected to go from 30 to 32 after the next media rights deal is done. So I want to ask you guys, I want to start with you, Jake, on this one. Who do you think, first of all, would make the better owner? I'm just curious, Shaq or LeBron for a team in Vegas? And secondly, if the league does decide to expand, do you think Vegas and Seattle, which is the other city that's been rumored, do you think those are the two right cities they should go to? Or do you think there's some other cities that are deserving of an NBA team?
I think there are tons of cities that are deserving. I'll answer the second question first. I think Seattle, anybody who was around when the Seattle Supersonics were around, wants basketball back there. I think you see with the preseason games there, I mean, that fan base in that market never left. And Seattle, along with Portland, I mean, that's part of the NBA circuit. So figuring out a way to get a team back there, and look, this is, again, like way above our pay grade, and these decisions are being made on like an Elon Musk type level. But I think getting a team back in Seattle would be awesome no matter what, especially because of the way that they left. As far as owning a team, the one quick thing about Shaq that I find really interesting is they also named him the head of Reebok basketball. He and Allen Iverson are taking over the Reebok brand. And the first thing I thought was, that was my childhood, right? Like I had all the don't fake the funk on the nasty dunk Shaq stuff, Shaq Attack. And I had the Iverson shoes. And so I think Reebok, that's a stroke of genius, getting those two guys to head up the brand. And then basically what they're going to do is they're going to, I think, try to revitalize connections with current players and sort of bring Reebok back to what it was. So I don't doubt Shaq being able to do anything. The man is an absolute media conglomerate unto himself. But I think LeBron might own a team before Shaq does, just because, you know, the only person I think in NBA history who's been able to compare to Shaq as far as that businessman goes. There's Magic Johnson back then. But LeBron, it's LeBron, it's Clutch, it's Rich Paul. They're just such, I mean, it's Adele. I mean, they're that is just a force that I would never want to be standing in the way of. So I think LeBron is going to own a team one day.
Well, listen, I think, first of all, if you have two Western Conference teams, can we get Memphis back in the East End? Doesn't that make sense? Well, right? Geographically, shouldn't they be in Eastern? So that might be on the horizon, right? Or New Orleans. Yeah, one of those two, right? Has to come now to the East, whichever one makes the most sense geographically, because those are going to definitely be two Western Conference teams. I think they're great, seem to be great markets and great fan bases. It would be fun to see, and the NBA will have to make those decisions here down the road. But hey, listen, I think it's impossible to pick if it's LeBron or Shaq, which would be better. But how great would it be for the NBA if one or both of those guys were involved in ownership? Are you kidding me? We've been so spoiled to have LeBron a part of our lives for 20 years, and now if he were to become an owner, he's not going to go away. I mean, I think that'd be fantastic. And Shaq, you know, coming back and being more involved on the ownership side of things, I think would be fun too. So I think it remains to be seen, but having those guys involved in any capacity can only mean good things for the NBA. That's going to do it for us, guys. Magic Drive Time here, presented by International Diamond Center. How about the Rook? He came prepared. He had some background information. He was ready to go today, Jake.
Very well done. I'm impressed. I've been impressed so far.
I appreciate it, Wendell. Nice job, Wendell. We'll have more of him throughout the season, no doubt about it. But we're up against it because Jake and I talk too much. So that'll do it for Magic Drive Time, presented by International Diamond Center. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back on Monday, 6 o'clock, right here, 96.9 The Game.